Welcome to the International Folk Art Market's Mentor to Market online artist education program. This program is designed for artists participating in the Santa Fe market for the first time. Its goal is to provide useful information to help you be successful and feel more confident at your first market. In this presentation, we will discuss story and how to tell your story in a way that engages customers and helps sell your artwork. Let's start by talking about why your story is important. At the Santa Fe market, customers are not just interested in purchasing your artwork, they are also interested in knowing your story and about the origin of your artwork. Every customer in Santa Fe is interested in your story. They might be interested in different aspects of your story, but they all want to learn about you. Additionally, customers value the uniqueness of your artwork. Your story is what makes your artwork unique and unlike any other product. Your story adds value to your product and helps customers appreciate its specialness. Sharing your story is also important because it helps you connect with customers and engage them in conversation while they are visiting your booth. When you engage your customers, they feel a personal connection to you, and this increases the chance of purchasing your artwork. Customers in Santa Fe are interested in a wide variety of information about you and your artwork. We discussed this in the previous customer video as well. In general, customers' interests fall into four main categories of information. They are interested in the beauty and aesthetics of your artwork, the techniques and materials that go into your creations, the culture and tradition that your work represents, and the impact the artwork makes in your community. The story you share with them should appeal to their interests. There are many ways you can tell your story. A website. Here you see IFAM's website specifically designed to share artists' stories. Websites are a great place to share both text and images. Social media is another way to share your story. Social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, are great ways to tell your story through photos and images. Hang tags and labels are a great way to attach your story to your product and your artwork. A brochure is a great way to share your story. Giving a brochure to any of your customers can help them share your story with their friends and family. All of these channels are great. However, for now, let's focus on the best way to tell your story in the Santa Fe market. Share information about you and your artwork by creating short statements of just one, maybe two sentences about you and your artwork that address the specific and varied interests of customers in Santa Fe and can engage them in conversation. When you engage a customer in conversation, they spend more time in your booth. They explore more of your artwork, and they are ultimately more likely to purchase from you. Focus on creating short statements. Think of those short statements as a hook. You want to hook the customer's interest in you and your product. What kind of information should you share? That's a great question. Let's go back to those four categories and interests and think about what type of information you can share. Many customers in Santa Fe are interested in your artwork because of its beauty and aesthetic. You might hear them say, "Your artwork is beautiful." These customers will be interested in learning about the design and aesthetic of your work. Information you might share with them could include how you chose the colors and patterns in your artwork and why they are important to you. What is special about the form or textures in your artwork? What items do you think are the most beautiful and why? What is the inspiration for your artwork and designs? Other customers will be more interested in the techniques and materials that go into making your artwork. They will be interested in learning about your process of creating. These customers might be interested in understanding the techniques you use, the materials you use, where you source them, and whether they are indigenous, natural, recycled, repurposed, sustainable, or locally sourced. The dyes and finishes you use, if applicable, and whether they are natural. Where you learned your craft and who taught you, and especially how long it takes you to make a piece, either in terms of the number of hours or the number of days. When a customer understands how much time went into making a piece, it helps them appreciate the price and appreciate the value of it. Also, when customers understand the quality of the materials that go into making a product, that also deepens their appreciation and understanding of the price and value of your work. Customers will be also interested in learning about the history and origin of your artwork. They want to know about the tradition and culture that your work represents. Some information you could share with customers include describing where you are from, which might include your country, region, community, town, village, the traditional role of folk art in your community and culture, or perhaps the contemporary role of folk art in your community, and some context about why it has changed over time, your inspiration and what makes your folk art unique in the context of your culture, and a sense of how long your techniques and folk art has been used in your community, generations, decades, centuries perhaps. Lastly, customers are interested in learning more about the impact of their purchase. Many customers see their purchase as a way to support you and your business as well as your community. They want to know more about who you work with and how purchasing your artwork benefits people. Information they are interested in may include understanding who you work with, assuming you are not working alone. This could be you and your family, or perhaps a larger group of people. How many people you work with, the role of women in making folk art, the importance of folk art to the local economy and job opportunities. Here is a summary of these interests. Keep in mind that you don't have to answer all these interests. Only address the topics that are important to you and that you feel comfortable sharing about. Be authentic. Be true to yourself. Customers will know right away when your story is authentic and real. Now that we've reviewed a wide range of the interests of customers in Santa Fe, let's talk about how to present their information, how to share your story. Here is an example from El Haji, an artist who has been participating in the Santa Fe market for many years. His story talks about the origin of his craft and about his community. These are 3 beautiful, well-written paragraphs, but they are too long to recite to customers shopping at the Santa Fe market. Short, concise statements are more effective at engaging people's interests when you are selling. So here are examples of 3 short statements that El Haji shares with customers to engage their interests, to hook their attention. These phrases can be the start of longer conversations. See how engaging these sentences are. This necklace is made in the lost wax cast technique. This addresses customers' interest in technique and materials. Jewelry is an important art form for nomadic Tuareg. This addresses culture and tradition. Or I work with 50 silversmiths who support a community of more than 200 family members. This addresses community and impact. Any of these sentences can start a much longer conversation, but these sentences will hook somebody's interests. So hook a customer's interest, then engage them in your product, and then continue on in conversation. But share a sentence and then try to get them to pick up a product or interact with your product. That's really the connection that you can create by sharing your story. Here's another example from Gahaya Links, another longtime participant at the Santa Fe market. This well-written story tells the origin of the baskets and addresses community and impact. Here are the short, engaging statements Janet uses in selling at the market. My mother taught me to weave baskets. It is a skill taught to many women in Rwanda. This addresses both tradition and community. These are called peace baskets because weavers from both sides of our conflict came together to weave baskets and rebuild our lives. This addresses culture and tradition. Both of these statements can engage somebody's interest and then engage them with your product. As you prepare your story to share with customers in Santa Fe, don't worry about writing full paragraphs. Instead, focus on coming up with a list of statements, short sentences that you can use based on what you think the customer is interested in. Make a list of 10 or more sentences that you can use during the market. We have provided a worksheet with a summary of all the questions outlined in this presentation. Remember, only choose the questions that resonate with you, that are important to you. Always be authentic. Once you create these sentences, practice them. Be comfortable sharing with them so you're ready for the market. If you're not comfortable speaking English with customers, then you can share this worksheet and your list of statements with the interpreter or representative helping sell in your booth with you. This will help them feel more informed about you and your work and will give them great selling information. We hope this video has given you some practical tips for preparing to share your story in the Santa Fe market. Sharing your story with customers is a big part of your success at the market. Thank you very much.